Hi, everyone. Welcome to Open World. Today we have a very special guest, Marina Ilari from Terra Localizations. But before we get to the interview, let's see what the LocFact of the day is.
Hi, folks. How are you? Welcome to another Open World LocFact. Today, we're going to be talking about Genshin Impact, one of the most successful game releases of 2020. Published by MyHoYo Studio, Genshin Impact was already the game everyone was talking about, even a year before its official launch. Can you believe that? Being quite similar to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Genshin Impact still has its own game identity and is likely to surprise us more than once in the near future. But let's hold it right there, shall we? Can we start with the title? What does it actually mean? And most importantly, am I pronouncing it correctly? What is a Genshin and what can I do with it?
Well, to answer all those questions, Flot, let's start by talking about the word Genshin first, which means primordial gods. How it's pronounced? Well, this depends on the fact that the developer uses Japanese pronunciation Genshin for this word, not only for the Chinese market, but also for the global market. And this is very interesting because this Chinese character of pronunciation is not Genshin, but Yuanshen, and Korean read this word as Wonshen.
Oh, so I was right. I was killing the pronunciation. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, we're all doing it in this side of the planet. Well, this is probably due to the fact that the game's anime-like style aims to attract Japanese animation fans all over the world, and therefore they chose to localize the game's name accordingly to their marketing and branding strategies.
That's so cool. However, there is more to game localization than the meaning and pronunciation of a name when it comes to successfully launching in a foreign culture. And that includes how you accept and cancel on your joysticks. Did you know that in Japanese culture, the X has this historically negative connotation, whereas the circle has a positive connotation?
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Well, now you know.
Yes.
Therefore, players confirm actions with a circle instead of an X, as we are used to doing on this side of the globe. So, for those who have already played the game, you might have noticed that the default button to accept is not your typical A or X to accept and B or circle to cancel. Instead, it has been reversed, as if it was meant to be for the Japanese markets, but for all players all over the world. At first, this might seem a little trivial, but after a few hours trying to survive every single encounter, it becomes some sort of like an extra challenge. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it's really hardcore to play, but do you think this has a negative impact on the audience of your native language, or on the contrary, it is very much welcomed? Leave us your comment below, and see you next time for another video game LocFact.
All right, guys. So welcome to Open World. So we have here with us today Marina Ilari. Marina is an ATA certified English into Spanish translator with over 15 years of experience in the translation industry. She's an expert in translation tools and managing projects in English and Spanish. She has worked as a translator, editor, and quality assurance specialist for many companies around the world, with a special focus on creative translations and video game localization. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Terra Translations and co-host of the podcast about translations that is called Pantuflas. So welcome, Marina. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you all.
So here today with me, we have Alexis, Loretta, and Lucia. So how are you guys?
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Excited to be here.
So we have a couple of questions, Marina. So because we were super anxious and excited to learn more about you and your background. So how about Alexis? What would you like to learn from Marina today?
Yes. Hi, Marina. Welcome. Well, we are all gamers. So first things first, which games were the ones that got you into gaming? I mean, there must have been some game that made you say, I want to translate video games and I want to play more.
Well, I don't know if I was thinking about that when I started playing video games, that I wanted to translate them. But I do remember very clearly that the first game where I got hooked was Tetris. So I was really good at it. And I was also obsessed about this. And I remember people talking to me and me seeing the little figures coming on their faces. So this is when I knew I was completely obsessed with this game. And I couldn't stop thinking about where they should go. But I grew up in the province of Argentina, in a small town. And we had an arcade game store called Flash. And we used to spend so many hours there with my brother playing The Simpsons and Street Fighter and Pac-Man and all these games. And so I think that's when I knew that the games were a passion. And then my first console was in Argentina, it was the family game console. Yeah. So similar
to NES, right?
Exactly. Similar to that one, but the cheapest option, I guess.
Yes.
And and so Mario Bros was the first game I played there. And that's when I was completely hooked, and also playing with my brother. The game that we like the most with my brother is this game that is not so well known. It's called Snow Bros.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys know it. You guys know it?
I know the Snow Bros.
Yeah. So I was also raised in Argentina, so I'm pretty familiar with that one as well.
You guys are going to need to show me this one.
Yeah. We have to play that one with Lore then.
Games are destroy your friendship.
Well, it's not so common. I don't think people here in the US are so familiar with this game. So it's just a game about two snowmen. And I was always the red snowman, and my brother was always the blue snowman. And we to this day, we can master this game. In fact, last summer, we had rented an Airbnb house and had an arcade game and had the Snow Bros game. And my brother and I...
Really? What are the odds? I mean, for you to rent a place and for them to have that specific game?
Well, it had many games in the arcade, and one of them was that one. And so we spent so much fun reminiscence about our younger days playing this game, and we can still master it, by the way.
And did you get to show that game to your kids?
Yes.
And were they as obsessed as you were back then?
Oh yeah, very much so. It's a fun game, and also the aesthetics are really curious looking, and it's a cool game. I really like it.
Right. Well, after you mastered it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Luch.
Have you ever tried speedrunning that game? I mean, it's one of the best games to win in as least time as you can.
No, I don't think so. But I didn't know all the codes to go into the next levels without actually winning. So cheating.
Yeah, that's not gaming. Or maybe it is gaming.
I just really wanted to get to the end. Well, the funny thing about this game, though, is that so of course it's the story of this princess that gets kidnapped, the two princesses, and the two snowmen have to rescue them. But what I like about this game is that once they rescue them, then this evil witch kidnaps the two snowmen, and the two princesses have to rescue them.
Oh,
so you get to play as a princess the whole second part of the game, which is really cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I definitely want to play it now.
Yeah.
Once you had mastered this game and had gotten more into the professional aspect of it, so how difficult was it to get into the game localization industry when you started translating video games? Like, what was the most useful skill that you had to learn, taking these first steps into the industry?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it was very difficult, but I would say that working in video game localization was not widely known, or it wasn't popular. So the most useful skill, without a doubt, I think, is knowing about video games. So the amount of hours I spent playing the video games were extremely useful when having to translate them. And also being a good communicator and being a good researcher. When I first started out, video game localization was not a common specialization for translators. We didn't have any books or blogs or videos or webinars on the subject, so you didn't have any of the resources that you have now. So I would say that was the most challenging part back then. You couldn't easily check for references online. You couldn't get all the imagery you get with Google right now. So that was a challenge. And comparing it to nowadays, though, I think that it's a little more competitive, the market for translators that are interested in specializing in this domain. When I first started out, there were only 2 translators of Spanish that were specialized in video game localization, and they were both from Spain. So I didn't know any Latin American Spanish specialized in this. And one of the first projects I worked on, which was a large AAA game, we didn't have anything. So we had to start from scratch, from creating the style guide to creating the glossary to everything from the game. It was starting from zero. Where, nowadays, usually if you will work on a big IP like this, you would probably get a lot more material to get you started with. So that's a big difference, I guess.
So in some ways it's a little bit easier, but of course those new challenges always pop up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Always going to be something else.
There are other challenges now, for sure.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Marina, we have another question, and this has to do with something really important and something that has been discussed a long time now. So we need you to give the ultimate answer to this. Which is best, Star Wars or Star Trek? And please be honest.
Okay, so I have to be honest, Lucio, and I hope I'm not disappointing you completely, but I do like Star Wars. That's what I used to watch growing up. I know, but I like Star Trek too. It's just like I'm a Star Wars fan. So
I'll get over this.
So tell me why you love Star Trek over Star Wars.
Oh, you first. Please.
Me, it's because that's what I watched growing up. So the first trilogy is what I watched and what got me into like the Star Wars world.
Oh, well, when I was a child, I had a lot of books on science fiction. I read a lot of Asimov, and my grandfather was a fan of science fiction. So I ended up getting into TV science fiction. The cinema was had a lot of influences on me. But I think Star Trek is more appealing to me because of this relation with Asimov and other famous authors. I think Star Wars is more of a science fantasy fiction. It's more like Dungeons and Dragons and Lord of the Rings than as a pure science fiction like Star Trek, in which you get a lot of scientific explanations about what's going on, and you can actually imagine technology advancing to that point.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I totally see your point, though. It's definitely more tied to fantasy, and I love fantasy. I guess that's why I like Star Wars.
But I also like saber fights, so Star Wars is cool.
Yeah. I agree.
And I have another question, Star Wars related, and it's for Lore and Marina as well, because since you're both US based, I wanted to know if you ever got to get dressed as any of the Star Wars characters for Halloween, since it's October already.
I didn't, but I did dress my daughter as Rey. A Halloween bag. Yeah.
So sweet. I haven't personally dressed up yet. I've got a Vader helmet that I painted very cool for a Christmas gift for my husband actually a couple of years ago, but I think I've used it more than he has because I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So I wear it more often than he does.
Now we have to see it.
That'll be, I'll bring it for the next one.
That's so cool. And are you planning on this year's costume? Or you have no idea if you're doing anything?
I have no idea. Is Halloween even happening this year? I don't know.
I mean, at least inside your home, just as an excuse to get dressed.
Virtual Halloween.
There's always a good excuse to get dressed, though.
We're doing an indoor one, too. And actually, Lucio brought it up. We're doing, well, mine is Lord of the Rings and my husband's is Harry Potter. So we're going full tilt on that fantasy costume.
Love it. I love it.
That's so cool.
So I have another question for you, Marina. Are you currently playing any games?
I am. So I have two little ones at home. And we are playing a few video games. Minecraft, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, Mario Kart, Zelda Awakening. Those are the ones that we're playing currently. And Just Dance.
That sounds amazing.
So and they play together also, which I really find quite adorable.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and the other thing I really like about games and introducing them to games also when they're young is that you can also configure the language. So we speak Spanish at home, but they grow up here in the United States, so their English is their first language, and it's another way for me to try to introduce them to more terminology in Spanish and to actually get them more interested in Spanish. So it's not just me insisting that we speak Spanish, but also, these cool characters also speak Spanish. So that's one thing I do. I configure the settings on their games to Spanish. And it's really funny. Like my son has all these very specific terminology of items and objects and worlds in Spanish, which is, I find, quite impressive. So I don't know. Some parents might judge me that I let them play video games being so young, but I think it's educational. So.
Well,
definitely.
For me personally, I learned English by watching movies and playing video games, RPGs mostly. So
same here.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's amazing to see that still till this day, new kids are learning that language is not a barrier for them. I mean, even in gaming, they can play video games that they can learn a lot, not just have fun.
Exactly. And it's such a great tool to have. I mean, I think now it's just annoying for them that I ask them to say everything in Spanish. But eventually, I'm hoping that they will thank me because it is such an amazing tool to have, especially, I mean, I work with languages, I work in localization, so I understand it can be just an amazing tool to have.
Right. Well, thank you.
For those of us who are a little bit newer to the industry, like myself, what would you recommend or advise to somebody who wants to get started in the localization industry but doesn't really know where to get their foot in the door?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is to continue specializing, because once you finish your career, your studies as a translator, and you're so eager to start working and you're ready for it, and you think this is it, I'm leaving my studies behind and I'm going to be working. And the truth is that you have to continue studying and you have to continue specializing pretty much all your career as a translator. So if you want to be on top of the latest grammar, the latest areas of specialization, I mean, it's a continuous learning experience, really. The second advice I would give is more of a like business practical one, which is to join a professional association. So depending on where you live, you can find translators or interpreters that join different associations. And this is an amazing community for professional development, but also for networking with other colleagues. And it's super important. I mean, great contacts can come out of this. And even if you're just starting out, these organizations are always looking for volunteers. So I highly recommend getting involved even as a volunteer, not even in a passive role, but rather like in an active role, like offer yourself as a volunteer and dedicate some time and effort helping the profession and also networking with other colleagues. And the other advice I have, the professional advice I have, is to always have a bird's eye view of the localization industry as a whole, because as a linguist, sometimes you get only like a very small portion of what's happening in the grand scheme of things. And it's usually like at the very end and with limited access to everything else. And it is important, I think, as a linguist to know and understand like all the different people that are involved in the localization process, and from quality assurance to the project management to the account management, what's happening on the other side if you're working on localization on the publisher side. So it really does help you understand how localization works. When I was working as a translator and didn't know much about the industry itself, it always frustrated me so much, and I couldn't understand why some companies were doing things a certain way. They made no sense to me in as a linguist. And then, looking back and really understanding how the whole localization process works, I can see, why some decisions were being made and why things were a certain way, even though I didn't like it. But it's important to know how all the different roles contribute to the global strategy that a brand or a product has. And it adds to your role as a linguist. It makes you a better linguist, I believe.
That's really great. Thank you. The one about joining the organizations really struck a chord with me, particularly because I finished my studies not too long ago, and we as students volunteered for, I believe it was an ATA conference that was being held in Milwaukee at the time. And we had a great time volunteering. We met a lot of people, and then were able to attend sessions afterward that we would not have been able to afford as students otherwise. So it was a really good way for all of us to sort of, I guess, be introduced to the world and feel like we were also contributing in some way.
I love that. That's so true. You usually do get a free pass for the events when you're volunteering. So it's a fantastic way to get your foot in the door.
Well, thank you so much for all the good advice.
You're welcome.
All right. So we wanted to know, since you're talking about these organizations that you collaborate, what are the organizations or associations that you collaborate with, or that you recommend? It can be either in your area or even Latin America, for that matter.
Yeah, I would say to start regional, and then you can also go national or even international. I mean, there are so many organizations. It really depends on what your maybe your niche is or your specialization is. And then if you start local, which I really like, the smaller regional organizations, it's going to be easier to network and to actually get to know the people that you're working with. Right now, everything's virtual, but before that, you would actually be able to meet them in person. So that helps a lot. And then developing those relationships, really, that's the most important part, like the people you meet and the connections that you make in these organizations. So some of the organizations, so I lived in Wisconsin for many years, and I was involved in the Midwest Interpreters and Translators Association there. I served 2 terms as a board member there. It was an amazing experience, met so many great colleagues, some of whom I still work with. And then little by little, I started getting my foot in the door in the American Translators Association, which is the national organization for translators and interpreters. And right now I'm the administrator of one of the divisions. So I'm very involved with this association. And it's an amazing association. But depending on when you are, I would say go regional first and then try to see what other national or even international organizations you can help with. There are so many out there. Like another organization I'm part of is Women in Localization, and I'm a chapter manager of the Los Angeles chapter. I was living in Los Angeles then. I recently moved back to Wisconsin, but I told them my heart's still in Los Angeles, so I think I can still be part of the management team for Women in Localization Los Angeles. So I'm still there.
So that means that you're still there.
I am.
That's amazing.
You're still in Los Angeles.
Your heart is still in LA.
We in Wisconsin will try not to take that personally.
I'm sorry.
We'll win you
change
back.
my mind. The
We're
movie is
confident.
very recent, so I'm still like learning to let go of the beach and the palm tree.
We'll
gonna
win
be
you
a
back.
hard one.
Don't
I
worry.
love Wisconsin, though. I love Wisconsin. Yeah, no. Wisconsin is amazing, and there are great organizations in the area as well, like MATI, the Midwest Translators and Interpreters Association. That's a great one. But yeah, Women in Localization is a global organization. So depending on when you are, on where you are, you could collaborate. There, I think they have 22 chapters worldwide. So
that's
there are
amazing.
many that you can join. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for this great advice. So I know that we asked you to bring something today. You had a little homework for us.
Show and tell.
Did a great job, by the way. So we're going to share some memes with you. Of course, Alex, Lore, and Lucho brought some of theirs, but we're going to start with yours, Mari. Okay, so as I said, Mari, you did some homework for us. Thank you so much. We asked you to share some of your favorite memes, game related or not, because that's up to you, of course, what makes you laugh. But I think you're pretty aligned with what makes us laugh too. So the first one is about Superman. I had to Google this. I personally had to Google this one.
I can explain.
Well, it's Henry Cavill. It kind of explains himself.
Yeah, I think Flor needs to explain why she had to Google this.
Because I'm not a big fan of Superman. Sorry, guys.
I've never seen it either.
I don't know. Sorry.
He's the Witcher also.
The Witcher.
You have to like the guy.
I know. But I mean, I'm so bad with the faces that like the minute I saw The Witcher, I was like, yes, it's this dude.
And now he's Sherlock Holmes too.
Superman.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
In Enola Holmes.
In Enola Holmes. Great movie.
He's becoming everyone.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
The Henry Cavill takeover.
So I want to explain this one because Henry Cavill bought a PC and put a video, I don't know where, uploaded a video of him building his own PC, and gamers worldwide like went crazy about this. How he was building the PC and like how he was just like us.
One of
One of
us.
Lucio, you said that Henry Cavill is becoming everyone. Can we be Henry Cavill?
Oh,
Maybe eventually.
Do we want to be him?
Yeah.
looks like a lot of time in the gym.
Yeah. I bet he doesn't eat much carbs.
No.
Junk food.
That's all protein and gaming.
Yeah. Gaming mainly.
Then we're on the right track then. Well, the second one is also about this Guy, I think
I
there's a
should
pattern
build up a
here
scene.
because you're a bit obsessed with this guy. What's going on here?
No, I swear, I just thought it was funny because it broke the internet. Like literally everyone was posting these memes. And I
No
collected,
judgment, Marina.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, open world
Mr. Business
officially.
is
Mr. Business.
Oh yeah, here's another guest star. This is Mr. Business.
Okay, open world officially loves Henry Cavill. So,
Oh, yeah.
Henry, if you're
Yeah.
watching this, we love you.
Big fans.
Still, Batman is better than Superman, but we love you.
Yeah.
so
You can save that
yeah.
argument for another day.
So this meme is like, Kat, I should buy a PC because,
Well,
right?
yes. And
Why
the
not?
third one,
Yeah.
too, is like what we're saying. Like every single person feels like
It's
related.
totally like me.
He's totally like me. Like the whole gaming community is saying this.
We need his secret. Oh, yeah.
And
And
then-
then, well, number 4.
And then this one, I think this one is
Surprise.
hilarious.
Get it.
Because this is a Mac ad of, like cool people saying I'm a Mac and like more traditional, like buttoned up people saying like I'm a PC. But suddenly you have Henry building his own PC and then it's like, yeah, you're
Yeah,
done.
Poor Justin
not
must feel
cool
so
anymore.
attacked.
I would.
Uh,
Well, now we're going to number 5.
this is how we gamers picture
This is so real.
non-gamers during isolation.
People get bored indoors. I mean,
You're not 200 hours deep into Animal Crossing and just
trying to get that platinum on PlayStation somewhere,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like every single person, well, from my friends that were asking, what can I do during lockdown? It's like, come on, play games. Let's just buy a joystick and let's add ourselves
some
on-
Rocket
over
League.
Steam.
How do I
Yes.
play games? Gaming
it's free
101.
now. Yeah.
I'm like bringing my friends every single time I log into Rocket League, I bring one new person that hasn't played. So
Lure the recruiter.
yes, I'm slowly but surely recruiting them all.
You're the Henry Cavill of Rocket League.
I wish.
Join us.
I wish.
You're joining all of us together.
I wouldn't need to be so insistent if I looked like that. Do you want to play
Part of the
Rocket
job.
League?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Where do I
Now that
sign?
think about it.
And the next one, we're going to number 6 now.
Yeah, it says don't travel, don't socialize, stay inside. Coronavirus lockdown rules, and normal people are crying, and gamers are like Tom Cruise laughing.
Yes.
With
We
an
got it
insane,
coming.
That's me
insane
the first week.
laughter.
Yeah.
Now we're all crying too, but
Yeah.
But we're still
now-
playing games.
Now we are all Tom Cruise.
Blue
Yeah, we
shell.
live and talk.
Yeah, it's now more like a crazy laugh instead of a...
yeah, it's like an insane
We're still
euphoric laugh.
laughing.
You can see
Oh.
he's evil.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. It's kind of evil. And we're going to number 7. And this is so cute. I mean, I bet that for me, it made me think of all these friends that I'm recruiting and don't have any idea of what to press or how to jump or do any of the tricks or even how a joystick works. And I felt so related to this. But why did you bring this one, Marina?
It just reminded me of my. So I would be the little one with the sword, and my son, my 7-year-old son, would be him teaching me how to play Minecraft.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, sweet.
It's very
Oh, and-
relatable.
Yes, it is. And we're moving to number 8. I believe Lore brought this one, and I think we can all relate to this.
Yeah.
Like, come on, can it get any more difficult? 2020? Like, I don't even know if I want to say that out loud.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's not ask.
Yeah,
UFO is going to go by my window.
There's still a couple of months, so please be careful.
Careful.
I saw earlier today that some guys found some new mummies. So it's like Brendan Fraser is prepping up.
Why?
Like, why don't we just leave that sealed up at least until the end of the year?
Definitely not this year.
Open it in January, please.
We don't need to invite any new crisis.
Yeah, there was also a cave where they found some eggs of some sort, like had been there kept for about 1,000 of years, and it's like, no, seal it back.
Leave them alone.
Seal it up.
Nope.
We don't need that.
This is so mainstream now. So I mean, we don't need another virus. We don't need another crisis. We just
just leave it.
We don't need
as
aliens. We don't need mummies. Please leave us alone.
Just let me play.
Just more video games would be fine.
Oh yeah. Well, number 9. I felt so related to this.
Yes, me too.
Oh, that's me in Dark Souls right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well,
but
that's
Dark
me in
Souls-
pretty much every single game.
Dark Souls is the exception. Nobody's good at that game.
Nobody's good at Dark Souls. Yeah, well,
So don't worry. It's designed that way.
Thank you. It does make me feel a little bit better, but just a little.
But you'll forget when you try to play again. So,
Right.
And the next one, we're going to number 10. The pharmacist. I mean, it's the first time I see this like pun. It's so funny.
Like when the super gets serious.
Definitely stealing it.
Yes.
Number 11. When you're waiting on the loading screen for 10 minutes and realize it says press any button to continue. Yes.
This has happened to me so many times.
I've been there so many times too.
And you see a reflection on the screen.
I don't read any instructions. It's like, whatever. And then when I actually have to read it, it's like, okay, what are you waiting for?
Right.
This game doesn't make any sense.
Yes. Tutorial, skip. How do I play this thing?
And then you're facing a wall and you don't know what to press or anything.
This is boring. I play another game.
Yeah.
Stupid game.
Who made this? I can't play.
Yeah, it's their fault that they don't make it so intuitive, right? So now we're going to move to number 12. Oh, yes. I felt so related to this one. Every single time.
Like the first time you go PvP and you just lose. There's no way you can win.
No way.
No way.
It looks
And
so
all the cool
confident,
skins, too. You are like...
Everyone's shiny.
Everyone's shiny and gold.
so glamorous, and you're just a noob.
And I think this is the last one,
right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And everyone is reading this with the Mario voice, of course.
Poor thing.
There's no other way to read it. So
No. When they say that pictures don't have sound, it's like
they do.
No.
Yes, but we believe Mario. I mean, it's not you, it's me. He really pulled off the "it's not you, it's me" to the princess.
That's the classic line, isn't it?
That's a classic line.
I feel like you say
Shame
it
on
too
you,
many
Mario.
times. Yeah.
Well, all right, guys, we've come to an end. Thank you so much, Marina. It was an absolute pleasure to have you today and to learn more about your exciting professional career. Thank you, Alex, Loretta, and Lucio. I hope you can join us on our next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.